Oh, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk and his visitation of Candace Owens in a dream. Candace Owens reported this week that last weekend Charlie Kirk visited her in a dream, and there's many commentators on the internet, both big and small, saying that the visitation wasn't Charlie Kirk, but was a familiar spirit. First of all, they weren't there. They didn't have the encounter. They couldn't really test the spirits themselves. And second of all, they speak out of ignorance. Um, many people assume that they know best, that anything supernatural is got familiar spirit explanation, which simply isn't true. I've dealt thousands of times in the supernatural and had thousands of supernatural visitations by saints and angels and Jesus and the Father. And whilst I have had some familiar spirit encounters, many of them have been genuine. It certainly isn't worth throwing out the baby with the bathwater. It certainly isn't worth stopping yourself from having supernatural encounters because there's some counterfeits that have slipped in. So I believe it's quite possible that Charlie really did visit Candace. She's very invested in his death and investigations into his death. The fact that she's investigating his death publicly and spending a lot of time on it would attract his attention in heaven, and God probably did authorize him coming to earth or appearing in her dream. So I'm 100% believe in it. I don't think Candace Owens has done anything demonically to open up the door to a counterfeit spirit coming in to fool her and lead her astray. And so I believe in her encounter. Also, seeing as I've got you here, and for my regular listeners that tune into everything I have to say, I want to share with you some examples of dealing with a familiar spirit and how they don't always tend to have terrible fruit. They don't tend to be something that really hurt me or really let me down. One time I was having a conversation with a female in a dream, and I woke up from the dream, and I was still having the conversation. The female in the dream was still talking. I saw a vision of Jesus and Michael the Archangel at the end of my bed, and they said, "This is okay." So I continued speaking to the woman telepathically in my mind, and that relationship built. I built a relationship with her and began dating her. She was meant to be an Australian. I'm Australian. She's meant to be an Australian living in London at the time. So I started keeping London hours. I'd go to bed when she went to bed. I'd wake up when she went to wake up. I haven't got a job. I'm on disability pension. So I continued that on for a year until eventually she said she was in Australia and I arranged a location for us to meet down near the harbour. I went down to the harbour to meet her. She didn't turn up, and I assumed then that she was a familiar spirit, and I was a bit upset. My mother, who was alive at the time, was aware of this relationship and was aware that I had developed deep feelings for this girl, and she was really worried for me that it was deception. So my mother could tell that it could have been deception, and when I found out it was a familiar spirit, and I told my mother was expecting me to be really sad, and I said, no, it was good for the time, it kept me happy. I was in love. I'm not upset. I'm glad it's over, but it was enjoyable for the time that I went through it. And so the fruit of being deceived by a familiar spirit for a year was it kept me entertained and kept me in love, and it developed experience for me to maintain a relationship. So that I believe was a demonic spirit. I interesting enough, I'd had her visit me, translate and visit me. I've been able to see her in my living room. I heard her sing worship. A lot of people say worship will dispel demons, but she tend to be able to sing worship. We danced together in the spirit. I danced with her spirit. She sang worship. She knew Bible verses. Yes, it was a very clear deception. But so that was a familiar spirit. One time I was having a relationship, friendship with Mary Magdalene, and I've had authentic relationship with Mary Magdalene. But because I had the authentic relationship with Mary Magdalene for a season, a fake, counterfeit Mary Magdalene came into my life, and how I knew there was something wrong is it turned sexual, and so I understood when it turned sexual that it wasn't really godly, and uh, and so I dismissed it, and she stopped visiting me. To this day, I have a great relationship with Mary Magdalene, and I've got 4 actual books where I've interviewed her, and she's got her answers in the books, and so she's a remarkable person, and yet Satan tried to destroy the relationship by sending a counterfeit Mary Magdalene. So, what did I do to deserve the familiar spirit? I'm not sure what I did. I was open to the supernatural, and because I was open to the supernatural, Satan sent this counterfeit to fool me. So, um, I've had another encounter with other young girls that I spoke to telepathically, and although some of them were real, some of them were counterfeit, and that had me. I was in a spiritual delusion for 3 days, like physical delusion for 3 days. But I came out of it stronger, and there was some positive fruit that came out of the experience. Was able to understand that God allowed the delusion to happen for good reasons, and there was good spiritual fruit that came from it. So my my answer to people who who are fearful of being deceived by familiar spirits is that there's always been positive fruit that have come from my encounters that I've had, and I think that God, Jesus says if a boy asks for bread, does the father give him a stone? If he asks for a fish, does the father give him a snake? If fathers know what to give to their sons, what better will the Father give to those who ask Him? I remember that scripture that says something like that. Basically means that God won't send a counterfeit, and Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good for those who love God and called according to His purpose. That means the good, the bad, the familiar spirits, the deception, the counterfeits, they all work together for good. That's what that scripture is saying in one way. So I think you'd make yourself open to counterfeit supernatural experiences if you feared the enemy, if you feared the supernatural, and wasn't doing anything to enable the familiar spirits. You may be wondering with my story when Jesus and Michael the Archangel were at the end of my bed and said, "This is okay," when I was talking to that female that turned out to be a familiar spirit. That was part of a main part of the deception, the actual visitation of Jesus and Michael the Archangel were familiar spirits himself. Jesus was the angel of light. He looked like Jesus. He had the presence of Jesus. He had the spiritual makeup of Jesus, but it was Satan or an angel of light. Michael the Archangel was just a fake angel. And that's what reinforced the whole delusion, reinforced the whole familiar spirit interaction, was them being there and endorsing it. So I wasn't aware that they were fake also. So I really want to encourage you, even though I've had these encounters, to not to let my encounters and my testimony stop you from having supernatural encounters. And I may be the only one on the internet that believes Charlie Kirk really did visit Candace Owens. I may be the only one, but I'll probably be the only one out of all these people who've really had authentic encounters from saints from heaven and angels, and that could be the reason why I'm the only one. If you listen to this and can you like this video, can you do me a favor and comment, say what you feel you want to comment. I'd encourage a comment. I read all my comments. If this was helpful to you, perhaps you can share it. And if you like my content, I've got plenty of Christian videos. I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. God bless you and keep you, and have a wonderful day.